Hey Sky fam, it's your girl Ariel and welcome back to my channel. Before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into flight attendant training tips that you need to know before you head there. Now, I know many of you are heading to training right now. This month is beginning of multiple training classes for multiple airlines, and congratulations to my students that have received CJOs and that will be going to training next week and the following week for 2 different airlines. I'm super excited for y'all, and congratulations to everyone that's going to a CJO right now. First thing I want to say before we get into this is that training is set up for you to pass. Okay, I feel like there's all these videos of how difficult flight attendant training is. It is not the most difficult thing you're ever going to do in your life. Flight attendant training is literally set up for you to pass, not set up for you to fail. By the time that you have a CJO, that means they have flown you, for most airlines, to and from your final interview, to training, putting you in housing, probably giving you a stipend for food weekly or monthly, paying you during or giving you a bonus after training. You are now an investment. They are now putting money into you. They want you to be out on the line. They want you to work for them. They like you. They want you. Remember those things because they are setting up the training program so that you can go work for them. They want you. They need you, literally, okay? Want to get that out the way. Now let's get into it. If you're watching this and you're already at training, I'm sorry. Although I did have previous videos, so you could have seen this. However, let's talk about packing for a moment, okay? Every airline is different in how casual to conservative they are, okay? However, regardless of the scale that they're on, you need to have business attire ready, okay? That means you should have enough business attire to last you from the first day of training to the last day of training. Now, this does not mean you need a different outfit for every day, so please be serious. And the hotels y'all are in probably have laundry services, but you need to have business attire, or at least business casual, okay? Do not get sent home because of what you wear, okay? There are plenty of things to be sent home for. Do not let what you wear be one of them. Some of the places that you will go do not play games as far as how short something is, how tight something is, if something is not the right colors. The first training I went to was extremely strict with what we could wear, and that was for a regional airline. My second airline was extremely casual. I had so much business wear that I actually ended up shopping while I was there for casual clothes for when we could dress down on so many days. So bring a mix of clothing, but make sure you have enough business wear to sustain you throughout all of training. As far as supplies to bring yourself, make sure that you have all of the pencils, pens, highlighters, flashcards, whatever. Go ahead. If you have like a go-to place, a Dollar Tree up the street from you that you know they have everything that you need, go ahead and bring it with you. Let me show you something. This is my binder for my second training, right? It still has all of my information in here down to the dividers. It has still my flashcards for my emergency. Like, I have all of this still. I'm not saying you have to have a whole binder, but if you're gonna take a binder, you might as well just take the binder with you, okay? That is from my second training. This is my binder from my first training, okay? I still even have that. I have everything in here from both of my trainings, and I'm someone that likes to color coordinate. Now, I know everyone is not super organized. That is completely fine. Learn however you study best. Absolutely, because you need to study every single day. But if you have specific supplies you know that you're going to want to use throughout training, just go ahead and bring them with you. It'll bring ease to you, especially on day one. Bring your little pencil pouch. Just feel like you're going back to school. I feel like that's almost a fun part of it, is feeling like you're going back to school and you're going back to class. Like, it doesn't have to be this headache. Like, make it fun. Also, when you get into your hotel room, try to make it as homey and comfortable as you can. That is your home for the next 4 to 8 weeks, depending on where you're going to training. Go ahead and unpack. Like, I'm usually not an unpacker and when I'm in a hotel, but you're about to be there for a very long time. So go ahead, put out your stuff in the bathroom how you want, all your beauty products and whatever. Put your clothes in the closet, put your suitcase away. Go ahead and make it homey, because that just makes it feel better when you come back home, when you come back to your room after a long day at training. Now that you have gotten to training, let's get into some tips while you're there. One of my biggest tips is to not pass go. Do not get ahead of yourself. Focus solely on what y'all are working on right now. There is no reason to go ahead of the syllabus, okay? There's literally no reason. You need to focus on the material that's gonna be on the upcoming exam, okay? Focus on that. Once you have finished that exam, then move on. I have some people ask me like, oh, what should I learn before I get to training? Nothing. Let them teach you. You're literally going to training for them to teach you. Don't pass go, okay? Once you have mastered something, let's say you have an exam in 2 days, but you have mastered everything on there, go teach somebody else it. My point is, do not get ahead of yourself. Go one day at a time, okay? follow the syllabus, stay on task, don't go ahead. Finding a study group is really important. And frankly, I feel like you should have multiple study groups, okay? Don't get too comfortable in your little clique, but I think it's really good to be able to study with anybody. I think you should find a good 2-3 people that you do really study well with, but be able to study with multiple people, talk to everyone, be able to bounce questions off one another, and don't expect things from other people, even if you see that they have something really understood in like a lesson or something like that. Another thing I want to say is don't have expectations on people that are coming from other airlines if you're a fresh hire, okay? For people that are going to training that have been flight attendants prior, we're having to do brain dumping of all the information we knew prior. And sometimes that can actually be a little bit more difficult than learning something for the first time. So don't have expectations of other people that are flight attendants prior to explain certain material to you. And for flight attendants that are coming there from other airlines, don't make it seem like you know it all. At the end of the day, everybody's on the same playing field. Y'all are all at training for the same airline now, and y'all are all at the same place. Along those lines, let me say, no one is your competition in training. No one in training is your competition. Y'all are coworkers almost. Y'all are teammates. Y'all are working together to get past training. There's no need to try to get somebody out of training. There's no reason to snitch on nobody for nothing. Leave all the messiness and drama at home, okay? That's something you don't need to pack in your bag. This is a time for y'all to work together and work collectively. Along with that, we are all adults in training, okay? Whether you are 63 or 23 or somewhere in between, we are all adults and we have to handle each other as such. Let's just always be respectful of each other. A lot goes on at training behind the scenes. Don't get caught up in it. Period. Now, also while you're at training, you are probably going to be exhausted, okay? It's really important to keep a good insight on how your mental is, aside from all of the schoolwork and training and studying that you're going to be doing. It's really important to check in on yourself and like those 2-3 other people that you're probably going to form a kind of like group with. Just make sure y'all are all still good mentally, okay? This is really important. If you do not feel like you're in the best place mentally, please feel free to share that with someone. It can be extremely stressful, yes, but it's not the end of the world. Also, if you do not pass something on the first time, let's say an exam or a practical, when I say practical, those are the hands-on things. That is the CPR, that is the emergency evacs, that is the ditching, things like that. You do have a second chance to do all of those things, okay? You might have a limited amount of second chances you can do, but if you don't pass something the first time, that does not mean that you are automatically going home. You will have a second opportunity at it. So do not stress yourself out. If you have to do a retake, it is okay. Just make sure that you do everything you can and you go over everything that you missed on it so that you're able to excel at it the second go round. Again, with the people that you're in training with is not your competition. Do not compare yourself to others. While we're in our mental mindset talking about that, you do not need to compare yourself to anybody you are in training with. If you see that someone else is really strong in a topic that you're not, don't take that as comparison or competition. Ask them a question. Ask your trainers a question. Frankly, I prefer you ask your trainers a question than you ask other classmates, but ask clarifying questions. There are no dumb questions. I do not care. Sometimes you need to ask a question 3 times before you understand it. If that's what you gotta do, do it. It's okay. At the end of the day, you're the one taking the exam. You're the one that's gonna be out on the line. And if you need to understand this information, ask it how many times or how many different ways that you need to have it solidified in your mind. It's okay. And while we're in our mindset part of this, try to see if you can create a routine for yourself and make sure that you are getting sleep and hydrating. Now, when I went to training my last time, there was an AM class and a PM class. When I was originally scheduled for training, I was in the AM class, and if y'all have been here for a while, you know I am an AM flyer, but I am a night owl. It is so hard for me to do early wake ups. I rather just do it because I'm a commuter. However, when I got scheduled for training, I was supposed to be in a later class and I was gonna have the AM portion. I emailed them, which if you haven't gone to training yet, you can do this. I emailed them, I said, hey, I'm available for an earlier date if a spot becomes available. They said yes. The most they could do is say no. If you want an earlier training and a spot becomes available, people have to shuffle around days sometimes, and that's okay. The worst they can do is say no. So I emailed them that. They said yes. Pick if you want AM or PM. I got the choice. Not only did I get to bump up my seniority and go to an earlier class, but then I was able to pick to be in the PM class, which is a lifesaver for me because I can much easier stay up late than wake up early. With that, I was able to wake up in the morning, go over whatever information I needed to, go work out, then get ready for class and do classes. Study till late in the morning, go to sleep, and do it again. And with that, I was able to create a regular routine. There was like me and one girl that would be in the gym almost every day together. We only knew each other from the gym, but if we had questions or whatever for each other when we were in class, then at least we had some type of association with each other. So then we felt comfortable asking each other questions then too. She even gave me her Peloton trial. And it's a good way to like diversify the people that you're around, okay? Because I keep saying have different clusters of people. I feel like that's good. I feel like that's healthy and important. So finding a routine that works for you, that allows you to have some type of consistency and discipline in your day is also very helpful. So figure out what works for you and make sure you're getting sleep. Make sure you're hydrating. You know, we drink a lot of energy drinks and coffee and whatever during training. Make sure you're also drinking water. Take your water bottle with you. Stay hydrated. There's so much to training that is so much more a part of it than just learning the material and testing, learning information and regurgitating it. You're there for minimum a month, maximum 2 months. It's gonna be your whole life for a minute. So it's not just the classwork, it's what you are turning your life into, and it's kind of a preview of what your life is going to be after. So it is important to figure out how the aspects of your day-to-day works with you being in training as well. If any of these tips have been practical and helpful to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I am on the road to 7,000. We're about 750 ways, so make sure that you subscribe. Let's get into while you're in training and the academics of it all right? You need to be studying every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday when you're in training, Saturday, Sunday when you're off. You need to be studying every single day. There is not a single day that you should not be looking at material. Got it? Got it. Good. For one particular airline that is starting training tomorrow, you have to have your PAs memorized. Now, if you are going to training tomorrow, you should already have them memorized. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Now, I have a whole video that I will add up here on one of these sides about how to memorize your PAs, multiple ways of learning how to memorize your PAs. That is honestly one of the more difficult parts of training to me. If you're nervous about that, I don't take it against you, but you'll get through it, okay? You will get through it. It is not that hard, but it is basically your first real task that you have to pass, okay? You're going to experience having to verbally give your memorized PAs within the first few days of training. If you do not have that, you will be sent home. I will be very honest with you all. However, it is passable. How many flight attendants are there of us? It is not impossible, okay? Just continue repeating it. One of the best ways to do it is to say it out loud, okay? You need to say it how you would say it in real life. Hi, and welcome on board today's Airlines flight heading to Las Vegas from Atlanta. The flight attendants serving you today are Jessica, Susie, Ann, and I'm Ariel. I'll be serving you up front. Shortly after takeoff, we'll be serving complimentary soft drink, juice, and coffee, beer, wine. You know, just say it out loud. Say it out loud. You cannot memorize it by just saying it in your head. Say it out loud and then write it and write it and write it, and you will learn it, okay? For a lot of other airlines, you don't have to worry about that. That is very airline specific, but you do need to know your PAs. It is extremely important to go into training prepared for that. That is specific. That is airline specific. Don't be in the comments talking about something. You ain't got to do that. I know everybody don't have to do that. Along with other information you should know going into training, for most mainline airlines, you do need to know the airline codes. Now, I do not stress this as much because you are not going to be tested on strictly airline codes. You're not going to have a 50-question exam on strictly airline codes. You might get a razzle-dazzle of airline codes in one of your first exams. So don't stress on airport codes as much. It is not the biggest thing that you need to know. If you want to go over a couple of them, sure. Should you know all of the bases? Probably. But it's not something you need to devote your entire being to. I know someone's going to be in the comment section like, you need to learn every airport code in the entire United States of America. No, you don't. And I stand on that. You should have reference to multiple, to major ones, and like I said, to the bases, but you do not need to know every single airline code on the face of the earth, okay? you're just giving yourself more work and stressing yourself out more before you even get the training that you don't need to give yourself, honestly. Once you get to evacs, practice in a group and have people watch you, okay? Say everything out loud at the volume you would say it at. So if you need to say your commands, you need to say it heads down, stay down. You need to say it at the same volume you're going to do it when you do your practical, okay? So say it at the volume, say it exactly how you would. Literally how they're like, you practice how you play. When you're in sports, same thing. Even if you're in theater or in drama or anything like that, the way you rehearse is how you perform, okay? You need to practice everything that you do that is practical things, such as doors and evacs and ditching at the volume and doing the actual steps. If you want to make yourself a door out of a poster board, do it. If that's what's gonna help you actually be able to do the practical as best as possible, work together in a group and a few of y'all get supplies and y'all actually make doors and things like that. I fully support and encourage that. Some hotels have study spaces for us. I know the hotel that I stayed in, there was a ballroom that they allowed us to use. And so we could go in there almost any time of the day and be able to study. We'd be in there till like 3 a.m. if we wanted to. And we would have chairs set up as the jump seats, and we would have things placed as the doors. Going through things in a practical sense and practicing it exactly how you are when you are tested on it is going to help you. So if you can practice things exactly how you're going to do them, I highly recommend that. I'm just gonna rapid fire some tips and then some things to not go home for, and that's how we will close out the video. Okay, do not be scared about your first exam. We'll have all the information for every single exam. Even some airlines give you study guides and things like that, and even sometimes classmates will create whole study guides. If a classmate does it, double check all of their work. I'm not saying they're gonna be wrong, but if it's provided by someone else outside of the company, outside of your training, make sure you double check all of the answers before you're just studying this thing. But a lot of airlines will even give you like certain materials, or you can go back over your homework, like there's kind of like homework or certain assignments you have to do. Use that as your study guide, okay? Use all of those things. You will have all of the information needed for every single exam that you ever take. Second thing, there's not trick questions, okay? There is never a question that I got on an exam in flight attendant training that I was like, I think they're trying to say this, but they really could be trying to say this and whatever. No, every question has a very specific answer. Pick that answer, okay? And stay true to your first answer. They want you to pass. They're not trying to trick you in these questions, okay? While I mentioned I don't feel like there is a strong necessity to focus on airline codes, I think it is important to go in knowing military time and time zones. I think those are two things that you can go into training knowing prior. Those are practical skills that you can use in or out of being a flight attendant, so it doesn't hurt you to learn those things, okay? Like I said, I'm a color coordinated type of person when I was talking about how I like to use flashcards and colors and organizing notes. So if it helps you, if you're a color coordinated person, what helped me learn time zones was coloring blocks in, and I can add a picture in here so that you can see what it's like. So that's what helped me learn time zones, because the United States is a big country, okay? And let's just say that you're not even just flying domestic, but you're flying international. You're going to need, especially in that case, military time. So learn military time and learn time zones. I think those are two beneficial things to learn prior to going to training. Rapid fire, do not get fired for, okay? Do not get fired for showing up to training intoxicated or on any other anything. And I'm not saying this just haphazardly. I'm saying this from experience and from others that I know. Do not get fired or get sent home because you are wearing things that are inappropriate. Do not get sent home because you are acting up in the hotel or you are rude to hotel staff. They will tell on you. And if you think they won't, find out. If you know the saying, you know the saying. Do not get sent home for being caught up in drama or fighting or things like that. Do not get sent home for inappropriate relationships, and do not get sent home for being rude or speaking illy of training staff, okay? There is a ton to get sent home for that is completely outside of the realm of academics. That's why I'm like, A lot of the tips I give about your mental and things like that is not even a part of the actual academics of training, but it being your whole life and encompassing everything that you're doing morning to night for at least 4 weeks. Okay? Do not get sent home for stupid things. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. It is not worth it. Some airlines, if you get sent home from their training, that's it. Okay? You will never get invited to their training ever again. And if that's your one dream airline, you're just SOL after that. And that's not even because you failed an exam or because you weren't qualified. It's because of something small and minuscule that you actually had control over. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. People get home for a lot of things, okay? Aside from that, if you need to go home because you have an emergency circumstance, you have a child that ends up in the hospital, you have a parent that ends up in the hospital, you have a health situation yourself, do not be scared of going home because of emergency circumstances like that. Everyone from HR to your training staff is a human, okay? They understand that things happen. And a lot of times when emergency circumstances happen, they are very understanding. You go home and you can come back at a later date. I mentioned your mental health. You have to be in the best headspace. So if something is going on with you physically, mentally, whatever, where you are just not able to continue in training at this very moment, but you would be able to later, say something to someone. It's much better that you go home and deal with whatever is happening at home than it's so heavy on your mind that you end up failing an exam and then you fail out of training, as opposed to going home, dealing with that situation and going back to training 3 weeks later. You feel me? So just throwing that out there. Okay, that is all I have for you. I hope this is the most practical flight attendant training tips video you've ever seen. I want to close out by saying, again, they want you, they need you. Study every day and remain calm. You got this. It is literally not going to be the hardest thing you ever do in the world. And another thing is, training is an interesting thing as being on the line. It is academic, okay? You really learn the job when you're out on the line. I often say 80% of the things that you learn in training, you hope to never use. So many things that we focus on in training, such as emergency evacs, medicals, things like that, we don't want to have to actually implement when we're on the line because they're worst case scenario type events. Service is going to take up like the least amount of time in your training, at least for US carriers. I know everyone just thinks we just serve drinks or whatever. That's so little of your actual training experience. So much more of it is emergency information. And that stuff you hope to not really use, but when you do need to use it, training does kick in. You will know what to do. But there are things you have to learn out on the line. You will learn how to do service in your own way when you're finally out on the line. Again, be extremely proud of yourself for getting to a CJO. If you have not been able to accomplish a CJO and you don't know where you're getting stuck, please feel free to set a call with me. I have a link in the description box below that will set you up for a CJO. We will go over your resume. We will prep for actual interview questions. We can go over every and anything that you want to go over. I've had one-on-one calls just to see if someone should go to their CJO. They wanted to figure out what airline they wanted to work for. Strictly interview prep. We can do any and everything to make sure that you are set up to be able to have an amazing career as a flight attendant. This month, my goal is to get to 7,000 subscribers. So please help me out with this. If this was at all helpful to you, make sure you drop a comment in the comment section, you drop a like, and you subscribe, okay? I will be going live May 15th. So if you have any questions that you want me to answer in the live, if you don't know if you're going to be able to be there when I am live, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section so I can answer them, because I will upload the live as a video as well. I am so proud of you. Congratulations on your CJO. You got this. You got this. Say it with me. You got this. Until next time, bye, Sky fam.